Welcome to Little Bit Podcast. It's your host, Aiden. And this is...
Summer.
My beautiful girlfriend. What is poppin'? We're pop, dropping, locking. Our way to the White House. We're running in 2024, even if I'm not old enough. This is my FLOTUS, First Lady, and Vice President. We making history, dude. We're making history. It's a rainy day. It's gloomy. Kind of sets the tone. Last podcast I was talking about how great of a time it is to be in this nation. How united we feel. How do you feel about that?
We're not.
We're not. I say we are. Just kidding. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I just want to remind you guys to take your vitamins. If I ever do that again on a podcast, I cannot believe I actually started to say vitamin D is good, vitamin C. It's not what you come here for, and I don't expect you to come here for that. What the hell is wrong with me? That was ridiculous.
And water.
And water. Drink water, drink your vegetables, eat your vegetables, juice them, drink them, whatever. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. So, speaking of the gloom, I wanted to ask you, do you think we're going to enter another lockdown? And if we do enter another lockdown, do you think it would look the same as March? Or do you think it will be different?
I think we will. But I don't think it will look the same. I think it will be stricter. I think last time...
Stricter?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
I'm pretty sure,
expand on that.
Like, when we locked down before, masks weren't even mandatory here yet.
That is true.
Masks here became mandatory after the lockdown.
That is true. We live in a state...
Which is weird.
Where masks, people were wearing them, of course. But, Okie, stop. That's my dog. But it did not become a mandate for you to have to wear masks until May. Is that what it was? Or late April?
Yeah.
Because I remember...
Because I was on lockdown when I was off work.
Yes.
And then when I went back, masks were mandatory, but they weren't, before that.
Summer's a manager at a coffee shop, and that's pretty much how I got the news, I think. I'm pretty sure that's how it...
It's all a little blurry, too, so...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wonder what... Because I do think there probably will be another lockdown. I wonder what that'll look like. Obviously, we are doing shit job of social distancing. What are we doing? Why are we sitting like this? Just kidding. But,
I think it'll look different everywhere. What it looks like in New York and LA is not what it looks like here.
That's the experiment of the United States. That is what that is about. Each state kind of has their own rights to it. But it is kind of strange, I have to say, to think that the lockdowns are different in different places. The one thing I will say to that I guess could make more sense is population based. I also feel like the small towns would be less likely to follow the guidelines.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just off of what we've seen. And then also, maybe I'm not a scientist. Again, take your vitamins. I'm not a doctor, but maybe it's not as bad in those small towns because everyone keeps talking about, is it Sweden that didn't lock down at all and they had an extremely low death rate, but the counter argument to that is that country, if it's not Sweden, geez Louise, I think it is, but if that country is comprised mainly of small towns, and that's why they didn't have to do strict lockdowns. So maybe there's something to be said for that, and that's not even a political stance to say about the small towns, because that is a fact. Like, that's how they handled it, and their death rate wasn't crazy. Per capita, not just like in total deaths, like their population's smaller, of course. But you know what I'm ready for? Some freaking holidays. I want some normal holidays. But I don't know.
I think it'll be a long time.
Yeah, but what about this holiday season? Do you think restrictions are going to move back in before we get to Christmas? Before Thanksgiving?
In some places, yeah.
Obviously, the Thanksgiving thing, a lot of people are doing still the traditional Thanksgiving, and a lot of people are not. And regardless of the disease, that's sad, just because, you know, it's traditional. And many of you have grandparents. I have grandparents. Mine are very old, and I don't know how many I'll have with them. But obviously, I'm not going to see them for these holidays. But again, don't want to be the guy that gives it to them. So it's a weird situation. It's the invisible enemy, and creates a lot of paranoia. And I'm not looking forward to. Obviously, it's not like the disease left, but when there were more restrictions, the air felt different. And I'm not saying because coronavirus was in the air. I'm saying there, in my experience, lots of tension, lots of stress, anxiety. You know, I'm starting to look for jobs. I'm gonna do my damnedest to not let that get in my... Damnedest? Is that a word?
Could be.
I'm gonna do my best to make sure I still land a job. But it is, you know, worrisome in these times. I mean, millions of people are without work right now, and have been for months. And there's just a lot of uncertainty.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody complained at the coffee shop yesterday saying they left a bad review saying they had to wait 5 minutes in line to even have their order taken, which we were very busy. I was like, well, just be thankful that you can even afford coffee right now, because tons of people don't even have jobs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's true also. Geez, yeah, I would just hate to see the businesses go down again. We do live in a smaller town, and there are plenty of businesses that are mom and pop, and that just breaks your heart. Like, if those go out. Summer is a certified yoga instructor, and the place she was teaching at went under, and like right away, because places and it was a new business as well, but like a lot of businesses never planned on saving 6, 12, 18 months worth of money, because they planned on consistent money coming in. And I don't know if that'll change the way, like, business structure, if there will be more insurance policies to cover these types of things, like pandemics, or what will happen. Speaking of, at the beginning of the pandemic, my brother, he's the one I was talking about last episode that's getting married this week. He told me that there was a company that had pandemic life insurance, and they used it in March, and they got over $100 million because they had been paying like $2 million a year.
For how long?
For like 30 years.
Oh my gosh.
30, 40 years. And so they got a giant payout. So I guess there is that type of insurance, but we won't see another pandemic. We won't see a pandemic. Here we are. You never know.
Well, if you listen to Sylvia Browne, she says...
Go ahead and talk about Sylvia Browne.
I mean, I don't know all the
specifics
in the
Tell
facts.
the people what you've been telling me.
Okay, so from what I understand, she's a psychic.
Keep going.
That... I think that she worked with the FBI on missing people cases and stuff like that. Like, she was very well known because she was accurate, and she predicted COVID, and she predicted that it comes back in 10 years. So like, she predicted
that there will be she predicted COVID specifically?
In a book. She published a book, I think it's from the 90s.
Or she predicted a lung infection.
Okay, her book says it's a pneumonia-like illness.
Okay, but she didn't say coronavirus.
No.
That would have been super spooky.
She didn't name it.
Yeah.
Somebody else named it.
So she said there was going to be a pneumonia lung infection type virus.
She says it's resistant. It's resistant to, like...
Hold on, let me get this straight. So she said she predicted that there would be an outbreak, and then 10 years after that outbreak, there will be another?
Of the same. She said
so basically 2030?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, in her prediction, she says that it disappears almost as quickly as it arrives, and then it comes back again in 10 years, and she has no input on that in the book. And then she states that after that 10-year mark, it's gone forever, and the world never sees that illness again.
What did she say about the system ending?
She said a lot of crazy stuff about 2020.
That the system would end?
Yeah, she says
that. Like
the
political system?
Yeah, she says that our president in office dies of a heart attack. The vice president takes over, and then that falls apart, and then our government isn't really what it has been like with presidents and vice presidents and just how it's set up right now.
You and I were freaking out when Trump got corona because you thought that was going to come true. And then also...
I mean, it scares me, And then it just makes you question, if she's psychic and she's predicting these things that nobody could have ever thought, what is life? What is the world? What is going on?
Yeah, what are frogs?
Yeah.
But, yeah, that is crazy.
I don't know. That might not all be to the T information, but that's the gist of it. She says, in the early 2020s is when she predicts the presidential... Which, I mean, not everything she's ever predicted comes true.
Yeah.
And I hope a lot of the things she's predicting for the next few years don't come true.
So she's got some misses.
Well, yeah, but who doesn't? We all have misses.
You know what? I just realized 2030, I'm ready for it, dude. I'm not even worried. You know why?
You're going to stock up on toilet paper?
Maybe.
No, don't.
King Kanye will be in. He will lead us to victory. The monarchy will prevail, people. King Kanye will be in by maybe 2024. UMFers saw him in 2020 election. 2028 for sure. Regardless, he will kill the coronavirus. He will kill it. He will negotiate until it's done. No more BS on the hill, the political hill. I think that's what they call DC. Could be wrong. Who knows?
That makes sense, though.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to regurgitate something else I've heard. I tend to do that. Rogan, I'll even say where I heard it from, said something fascinating. How many people since the start of this pandemic have died from cigarettes? Is it the same amount of people who have died from coronavirus? Because on a typical year, 500,000 people die from cigarette-related deaths. That is spooky as hell. And I saw this Vice piece one time, maybe Vox, about the reason why cigarettes will never go illegal, even though they're harmful. And then it explained a little bit how the parent companies of Marlboro bought Juul. And the reason is because there's taxes on these cigarettes, like sin tax or whatever the heck else, and they pay for pretty much schools in general. They pay for so much of that type of okie. They pay for social good because they're doing so much social bad. Probably, I think that's the logic of it. Yeah, I wonder if Sylvia Browne was a smoker. Sylvia dead?
Yeah, she died in 2013.
13. Spooky. Numerology.
No. She predicted that we have some extraterrestrial
Well, guess what?
in the early 2020s, and they
announced that.
During COVID, they just started sliding in videos of aliens. So I was like, oh my gosh, Sylvia Browne.
By the way, as soon as aliens like are officially out, I'll be the first to have one on my podcast. So before Joe Rogan, they want to talk to me, not Russell Simmons or any of that stuff. They want to talk to me because I got the real stuff, dude. You believe in aliens?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're out there. We're aliens to some other aliens.
Yeah.
We're aliens to other aliens. Now, hold on a second. What if aliens come and we start making peace deals, like intergalactic peace deals, like from one galaxy to another, and then they all just get smoked by COVID? Like, the aliens just cannot take it. So they look at us as toxic and they want to kill us.
I feel like their immune systems are better than ours. They would be like, oh, COVID? Whatever.
Oh my gosh. We'll see. You're welcome to come on the pod anytime. To the ghost of Sylvia Browne. Thanks for the heads up. Okie, you want to be in the podcast? Okie, you're in the podcast. You're in the podcast.